In previous videos, we have explored how organisms can reproduce in two main ways, which are sexual reproduction and asexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction involves the fusion of two reproductive cells known as gametes, such as a sperm cell and an egg cell, which results in offspring that are genetically different from their parents. On the other hand, asexual reproduction relies on the process of mitosis to create new individuals that are exact clones of the parent organism. In this video, our focus will be on understanding the advantages and disadvantages of each type of reproduction. Starting with asexual reproduction, the two major benefits are that only a single parent is required and the entire process can take place rapidly. This efficiency allows a lone organism to quickly populate a new environment with genetically identical copies of itself. For example, if a single bacterium or fungal spore lands on a piece of food, it can divide into 2, then 4, then 8, and so on, rapidly forming a whole colony. Under ideal conditions, this entire population growth can occur in just a few days. A similar scenario applies to plants that can reproduce asexually, such as through runners or tubers. If a single seed reaches a new environment and begins to grow, it can create many identical offspring that may colonize the whole area. However, a major disadvantage of asexual reproduction is the lack of genetic variation among offspring, since they are all clones. This means if a new disease or harmful condition appears and one individual is vulnerable to it, all the others are likely to be vulnerable as well, and this could lead to the entire population being wiped out. Furthermore, a lack of genetic diversity means that asexually reproducing organisms have limited ability to adapt to environmental changes, such as shifts in temperature, availability of resources, or the appearance of new predators or competitors. In contrast, sexual reproduction offers a significant advantage in the form of genetic variation. Each offspring inherits a unique combination of genes from two different parents. In the short term, this means that not all individuals in a population will be affected equally by threats like diseases or parasites, since some may be naturally more resistant than others. In the long term, genetic variation allows a species to evolve over time by enabling beneficial traits to be passed on to future generations. This is what drives the process of natural selection, where individuals with the most favorable traits are more likely to survive and reproduce. However, sexual reproduction does have some disadvantages. It typically requires more time and energy compared to asexual reproduction. For instance, in animals, finding a suitable mate can be a time-consuming process and often involves various behaviors to attract a partner. This is why in certain bird species, males develop brightly colored feathers or perform elaborate courtship displays. Although these traits are not directly useful for survival, they increase the chances of reproducing successfully. Additionally, sexual reproduction requires specialized organs and often complex mating rituals, which increase biological costs. Despite these challenges, the benefit of increased variation and adaptability makes sexual reproduction highly advantageous in the long term. In summary, both reproductive methods have their strengths and weaknesses, and the preferred method depends on the organism's environment and survival strategy.